You said that you moved from a peacetime to a wartime CEO, but many
Yep.
times it's a tough journey to move to a peacetime CEO. Right? So can you share how have you
Yeah.
invested in your own growth as a leader? How have you cultivated, maybe using that metaphor of gardening, how have you
Yeah, for sure. Love it.
cultivated in yourself? And now as you grow, how are you supporting other leaders in your organization to grow and become the leaders that your organization needs in the future?
That's an awesome question. So that pivot was very difficult for me to go from peacetime to wartime because, like I said, I like to think of it in terms of kinetic energy and potential energy. And so when you're in peacetime, you can afford to cultivate potential energy. You can afford to plant seeds. You can afford to focus on hiring maybe a more junior workforce, right? Having some folks that are fresh out of college or some people that aren't necessarily at the top of their game, but they want to get there. And so that cultivating of the potential energy can turn into a force multiplier down the road when you've invested in them enough. And that was the first 6 years or first 4 or 5 years, excuse me, of the business. That pivot into wartime was a bit harsh for me because I tend to be more of a people focused person. I am an introvert, by the way, but I do prefer to think through the human element of what we're doing and why we're doing it. I started this company because I wanted to build a software engineer owned and operated consulting firm because I think that we're good at that. Like, again, a subset of our developer population. And I think I can teach the vast majority of even that subset that are not naturally talented at relationships. You can teach how to interact with other people. So we have invested heavily in our team over the past 5 years towards growing our leaders. We have mostly promoted from within. So all of those engineering managers that I have been promotions from within, where I've spent a ton of time with them and worked with them and ensured they're learning the things they need to learn and given them, again, exposure to clients and exposure to failure because it's okay to fail. Again, put you have to put guardrails around it. You don't want a catastrophic failure that results in lots of money being lost, but you want to develop an environment where an individual can fail and then pick themselves up and learn from that and focus on pushing them towards, okay, what did we learn from this interaction? For myself, it's really been surrounding myself with people smarter than me, which isn't hard, actually. And it's finding folks like there's a couple of CEOs of some services firms that exited, or a couple of CEOs from product firms that exited and moved on with their lives. And I just got hooked up with them through friends of friends. And I just hold on to them for dear life. And I'm like, please don't leave me. I need to talk to you. I need to understand how this particular problem should be solved. And I think, there are a lot of CEOs. You look at like Elon Musk and all the people out in the world, there are a lot of people that just act like they have everything figured out. And they come to the table with this sort of confidence and sometimes arrogance that can be slightly abrasive. I certainly am not that person. I have always been a very healthy skeptic of my own actions. And I think that check valve has made me more successful as opposed to walking in and slamming my fist on the table and saying, I know what's best, do what I say. I always ask everyone for input and try and sort out what the right solution is. And that's helped me to grow. I've again made some mistakes there. You can't design by committee. That doesn't work. You have to be able to make a decision, which I can make a decision and we can move forward. But there's been a lot of people pouring into me and saying, you have a good company. You built something really cool. And again, reaching out and finding people that can pour into me. I like to read books, but I'm not the kind of person to just sit and look at the New York Times bestseller list for all the self-help and CEO executive leadership books and read them all. That's not a thing that makes me happy. What makes me happy is having a relationship with someone that will pour into me and I can have those real and transparent conversations around, am I doing this right?